In today's headlamp world, it's kind of a race to see who can have the brightest light that lasts the longest in the smallest package with the most features that's also the cheapest to buy. In this video, I'll go over some of the features I like in a headlamp for hunting, and then after that, I'll review the most common headlamps that hunters use today. The headlamp was first invented by miners so they could illuminate their underground work. They went from candle and oil power, which was dangerous, to carbide lamps, to electric battery-powered lamps with the invention of the Edison cap lamp. In 1973, Petzl invented the modern headlamp as we know it today. Ferdinand Petzl was a genius-level inventor of mountaineering gear. At first, miners, cave explorers, military operators, and rescue workers were the first to embrace this new technology. But it didn't take long for hunters to find out that a headlamp allowed them to break down in deer after dark with both hands free. Throughout the years, these incandescent headlamps got smaller in size until technology finally stalled. There's only so much you can do with an incandescent bulb without sacrificing performance. But 22 years ago, headlamps evolved again when the LED bulb was incorporated in them. LED technology was really the last evolution of the headlamp. It allows brighter light with different light modes in a small package that requires very little battery power. This is when the headlamp finally went mainstream. Hunters, backpackers, anglers, mechanics, and everyone else jumped on the headlamp craze at this point. And to this day, technology really hasn't changed much from the old Tikka that Petzl introduced back in 2001. The first desirable feature of a good headlamp is a good strap. In the old days, people preferred headlamps with that top strap because the lights were heavier and the elastic they used for the bands at the time wasn't very good. I mean, it was stretched out and didn't work good after a few uses. But as headlamps got really light and elastic bands got better, just about everyone moved to a single strap design like this. I personally like these single straps because I can quickly put them around my bare head, hat, or beanie without really adjusting them. This design also keeps the rig really light and small so I can shove it in my pocket without much fuss. The second feature I like on a headlamp is the adjustable light feature. This is real important to me. You know, I need a light focus to be able to focus ahead while I'm walking, but I like it to face down while I'm reading a map or cooking dinner, field dressing an animal, or tying fishing line. The next feature I really want is the ability to use standard batteries. Yep, I know the rechargeable headlamps are all the rage these days, but they do the hunter little good while he's out tracking a blood trail or quartering a buck after dark and his headlamp starts to go out. So I really like the battery feature, especially AAAs. I mean, I carry AAAs for a lot of stuff out there, but a good hunting headlamp to me has to have the ability to take standard batteries that you can buy anywhere. But Petzl actually has the best solution to a batteries versus recharging headlamp dilemma. Basically, their core system has the best solution to this that I've ever found. These core battery packs actually fit right in instead of the regular standard AAA batteries, but these core battery packs also recharge from a standard USB port, which is awesome. And these core battery packs have a built-in charge indicator, and they actually perform really good and last a long time. And these things cost less than $30 and they have a 2-year warranty. So I really love Petzl's core system. You know, I can recharge or use standard batteries that I can obtain anywhere. And the next feature I think is mandatory on a headlamp for hunting
is a red light. I never understood how important a red light was for hunting until I started using them a lot. If you've ever found where the turkeys roost and you need to sneak out there to set up some decoys, you know that a white light will spook them so badly that they'll never fly in your direction. Red light is also invisible to most game animals that we hunt. When I turn this red light on, I call it stealth mode. If you're messing around with your gear while you're out predator hunting, you also know how important a red light is. If you're sneaking into the woods to set up for a deer hunt, a red light is really going to help you out. But the greatest advantage to a red light isn't how it affects the animals, it's how it affects you. The main benefit of using a red light is that it doesn't ruin your own night vision at night. Red lights are the best option, honestly, for preserving your night vision. Trust me, this is a huge advantage. The next thing I like on a headlamp is high and low intensity adjustments, with both the white light and the red light. If I'm setting up on a turkey before the sun comes up and need to load my gun, I want just a little tiny bit of red light. The white light required to climb a ridge is much different than the amount of white light you need to read a map. Also, I think a headlamp needs to be fairly water resistant. Hunting seasons in America usually happen during the wetter season, so you're going to run into that. And lastly, a headlamp must be reasonably durable. I'm not going to treat this thing well. It's going to be handled with muddy and possibly even bloody hands. I'm going to throw this thing in my pocket with little regard. Unfortunately, this is where most headlamps on the market today fall short. The first headlamp I'm going to review for you today is the Princeton Tech. When I first heard of Princeton Tech headlamps, I was super excited because these are made right here in the good old USA with American labor. At first glance, this thing has everything you want in a headlamp. It takes 3 AAA batteries. It has lots of light options for red and white light. It's water resistant. It has a great runtime. You can lock it in the mode you want. It's cheap. And did I mention, this is made in the good old USA. They say that perfection is but a veil for the ugliness underneath. And this headlamp is proof of that. This thing has the most poorly designed battery compartment in headlamp history. You have to pry your fingernail under this little tab to open the door. And there's about a 50-50 chance you're going to break this tab off while you're doing that. Trust me. This is my third one. Horrible design. When my first one broke on the trail, I put tape around the headlamp to keep it going. But then the housing on the other side cracked from being in my cargo pocket. But luckily, Amazon always takes care of me. But I'm not impressed with the quality over at Princeton Tech. Their lumen ratings on their lights are also highly suspect. Black Diamond has a reputation for making decent stuff at a good price. They're extremely popular with backpackers because of their size and weight, and they do make some high-quality backpacking gear. I love their trekking poles. But these take 3 AAA batteries, like I like. It has multiple red and white modes. It's water-resistant. It's very light. It's compact, and it's pretty cheap, too. I love the controls on this light. You basically put it on the setting you want and lock it in. And then every time you turn this light on, it goes directly to that exact setting. I also think these Black Diamond headlamps, in my subjective opinion, have the best runtime too. The downside is the same with all Black Diamond products I've used. It's pretty dim compared to other lights with the same rating, and it's made with slave labor in China. But this is a pretty decent lamp to throw in your pocket and use. I see more Petzl Tactiva lights in the packs of hunters than all the other headlamps combined. These are just crazy popular with hunters. And the name Petzl is really trusted in the industry. Both of these have full red and white light control, water resistance. They both take 3 AAA batteries, but also take the core rechargeable battery packs. And these are made in France at a very nice modern factory. I bought this regular Tactiva about 6 or 7 years ago when the core technology came out, and it's been flawless. This replaced my original Tika headlamp that I used for the 9 years before that. No, my wife pretty much uses this lamp now. I currently use the Tactiva Plus. It seems a little dimmer than advertised on the highest white light setting, but the high red light setting is super bright, which is kind of the main reason I carry this. I think I paid $50 for this, which is considered a mid-price lamp in the modern headlamp world. Petzl quality might have gone down a little bit, just like every single other headlight manufacturer. Unfortunately, they're all trying to compete with the Chinese prices right now, so they seem to be cutting corners with thinner plastic and eliminating rubber seals like these lights used to have. But everyone's doing that right now. But I haven't broken a Petzl yet, so I really have no complaints at this point. And lastly, I want to introduce you to my Energizer headlamp. I bought this at Walmart when I forgot my headlamp on a trip. But everybody raves about these damn things and act like they're the best value in human history. Probably half the hikers walking around the Pacific Crest Trail right now have one of these damn things. They're made in China, probably with slave labor, and this only cost me $12, so I really wasn't expecting much. These run on 3 AAA batteries, and they have several white and red light modes. And they're water resistant, and I guess the best feature is this is the cheapest damn headlamp that I ever bought. But here's where your mind's going to get blown. Those granola eating hippies on the Pacific Crest Trail are actually correct. This thing is pretty awesome for the price. It's built tougher. I mean, you could feel how substantial it is. It's built tougher than the other headlamps in this review. It's actually built for impact resistance, which other headlamps seem to have given up on. It looks like it seals against water better than the other lamps in this review. And it has, in my opinion, the best latching system for the battery compartment out of any of the lamps that I own. It also has not one, but 2 red LED lights. And lastly, it seems to be just as bright as some of the other lamps that have the same lumen rating, which is odd. You expect this to be really dim, but it's not. The only thing I don't like about this light is that you can't lock it on the setting you want. And that's usually bad because you don't want to accidentally flash a bright white light when you turn your headlamp on if you need red light. But it's not much of an issue because every time you turn the Energizer on, it goes directly to double red light mode. So it's still useful for hunting. These don't seem to have the battery life of a Petzl or a Black Diamond, but at just over $10, these are probably the best backup headlamp you can buy. I hope you noticed that when I discussed the features that I like in a headlamp for hunting, I did not mention high lumen output. You just don't need high lumen output for hunting, and in a lot of circumstances, you don't want it. You know, a headlamp that puts out 300, 350 lumens is going to be plenty bright for hunting, and it'll basically never leave you wanting more than that. In fact, for tracking blood at night, super bright white light usually works against you. You know, I also have no need for those really gimmicky blue and green lights for hunting. Also notice that I refuse to pay really expensive prices for headlamps. You know, I tend to stick with cheaper lights that can take AAA batteries, run a long time, and are small and light enough to where I can just throw them into my cargo pants while I'm out hunting. Right now, the Petzl Tactiva Plus headlamp is basically the perfect balance for me at this time. The core hybrid battery technology that these take is the real selling point for me. And most of all, you know, it's not made in China. Petzl invented the modern headlamp, and Petzl is also very supportive of hunting and fishing and designs products with hunters in mind. You know, it's easy to like a product when you really like the company that makes it. But to be honest here, most hunters aren't constantly using headlamps. In fact, many of you might go years without even using one. But when you do need one, you really need one. I actually use them a lot because I do so many different kinds of hunting, and I live in a warmer climate where most of the hunting takes place at sun up and sun down. So if you're a new hunter, I really suggest that you go out and get yourself a good headlamp. Well, I hope you like this video about headlamps for hunting. Be sure to hit subscribe down there if you find my content worthy of your subscription. You can contact me with any questions or comments at desertdogoutdoors@gmail.com. As always, thanks for watching and good hunting.